Today I'm looking at another score by American composer Christian Wolff. This score is called Song from 1969. It's for variable instrumentation, so you need one singer, but then any number of singers or instruments could accompany. Um, the singer should choose a name she likes. If it is the name of someone you yourself know, then use the full first name. If not, use the first, middle, and surname. Make one sound on each syllable of the name or for each letter or combination of letters, not exceeding a syllable in length. And once make three sounds on a syllable or letter or combination of letters. Do not repeat the name more than once, if that. The accompaniment should be made up of chords of at least five sounds. One sound may sustain through from one chord to another, but not through more than two subsequent chords. Once use four chords for once use four sounds for a chord. Play each chord simultaneously with a sound of the singer. If there is only one name, the singer should at some point make one of his or her sounds without accompaniment. If more than one, two sounds without accompaniment. Okay, so this is pretty dense. Basically, the text is the name of the singer, and it should be broken up into phonemes, um, so that the piece can have a substantial duration. But you're not really supposed to repeat uh, previous phonemes. Like once you move from one to the next, then you're there, and you have to work on that phoneme, maybe repeating it, keeping it going. Um, you know, the second paragraph that talks about chords, I think, is a little bit more difficult to pull down because a chord is kind of this abstract concept. But I guess like here he's not really like breaking up the chord into notes, he's breaking it up into sounds. So I'm assuming it's like a chord is just like a bunch of sounds simultaneously. They may be notes, maybe they're not notes. And they're sustaining sounds for the most part, right? So they can sustain into the next chord. They can't sustain past too many. And I guess you have to plan logistically some other things like the singer being exposed at a certain point with no accompaniment. Um, that may happen once, it may happen a couple times. And then for whatever reason, most of these chords are supposed to have at least five notes or sounds or whatever, but one of them should only have four. So that's another thing you have to plan or work into your performance. So a lot of this stuff I think, has to be planned ahead of time. It seems kind of difficult to improvise freely, but it's very open in other respects, like the types of sounds you decide to use, the pacing, how many people are playing, like all of that is very, very open. So I'm curious to see how this is realized. I did find a YouTube recording right away, which is why I added it to my spreadsheet. So the name will be Laura Brandes, or maybe just Laura, and it's the voice is being accompanied by banjo, harmonium, clarinet, mandolin, and toy piano. So all very kind of pitched instruments. Nothing too noisy here. And some of them, like toy piano and mandolin, don't really sustain that well. So that adds another challenge to constructing this. Link to this is in the video description. Um, it seems to have a few, like quite a number of views just because it was uploaded so long ago. Yeah, this is the same channel we looked at for another one of Christian Wolff's pieces. I think when we looked at, what was it? You Blew It. I forget what episode that was. That one, this was also the only channel that really had a proper recording of it. So, um, yeah, kudos to them for doing it. so we can cover it. And I'll see you in 3.5 minutes, I guess. Okay, so this recording was really interesting, kind of a strange approach, although I'm not surprised that they went very quiet and meditative with it. There's like silences between each sort of event. Um, so that actually gives the ensemble a lot of room to take the stuff into account while they improvise. Now, I don't think I heard at least 5 sounds per like little articulation, you could say. It's definitely less than that, but most listeners are not going to be familiar with the score, so they're probably not gonna know. Um, that's sort of like a trend that I found with this channel is they kind of just disregard the score a little bit. They do create really interesting things out of it, but yeah, it's just like why wouldn't you just have more people playing and just do what is asked? I don't know. Hopefully this session made you think about composing differently. I know we've done a lot of these text scores by Christian Wolff. Maybe you're seeing some trends. This one, I think, is preoccupied with like the singer versus accompaniment relationship and is actually preoccupied with text, which I think is kind of interesting. Tomorrow, I think the next one we're going to look at is called Play, and this one seems to be performed a little bit more often. And then the one after that is Stones, which I think is by far the most famous text score by Wolff. So we're going to end strong. Um, yeah, thank you if you made it this far in the video for exploring this with me.